I was asked to say something here, and if I have anything in my memory that I could give, I'm a generation older than what most of the, well, not everybody here, but of Junior's parents. And incidentally, Junior's grandmother is my sister, so that would make me a great uncle. Sometimes I don't feel so great, but nevertheless, that's the way it is. So I don't remember that much of Junior because it was a generation later, and they had moved out from our home community also, and I don't know just what point in time. But at the time that Junior's father, Sam Jr., was going to see his wife, his future wife, which would now be Junior's mother. Well, one Sunday, as I recall, we had so much snow there at Guthrie, and the church services were canceled on account of the snow. And that evening, with the roads had been blown shut, and there was a lot of snow around, and Samuel's mother, which is my sister, being very knowledgeable and foresighted and so forth, and she didn't want Samuel, or Sam, I guess is the way they call him here. And you see, Samuel's father we called Sam, and then Junior's father we called Samuel. Now here in Whiteville they call Junior's father Sam. But anyway, she didn't feel like it'd be necessary that Samuel would go to see Ruth that evening because the roads are blown shut and it's dangerous to be out on the road. And furthermore, we didn't have church services. And if we didn't have church services, it's not necessary to go see your girlfriend. Well, Samuel, being sort of, intelligent and wise, he came up with a plan that he felt would be very convincing, well reasoned out to go see Ruth yet that evening, that night. So he made the offer that he would go over to the church house. This was after dark. And he would sit there the length of time that it takes to usually have church services, which was 2.5 hours. And he'll sit there for 2.5 hours if he can then go to see Ruth. And that was very important. And those of us of the older generation, we our conception was a little different what it was when we were young. But anyway, his mother called my father, which was her father, and he was a bishop of the church, and asked him what he thinks about that. Well, he said he doesn't see any reason why he couldn't go see his girlfriend. And well, she didn't quite get the answer that she wanted, so I think she decided that I would be more sympathetic with her reasoning than what my father was. So she gives me a phone call and asked me and said what Samuel has agreed to do, that he's willing to do that if she'll let him go to see Ruth. Well, apparently it was true love because it turned out that they got married. And Samuel and his brothers, there was about 6 of them, and kind of stair-stepped. And seems like for some reason boys can think of things to do sometimes. And well, I don't know. I don't want to say too much. But I noticed one Sunday afternoon, it was before we had a church house and we were still having church services in the homes, Well, it had rained and there was some water puddles out around. And then that afternoon, I think we had, after lunch, these Swarey boys were out there running around, and and there was others too. And then one of the boys was come running, and he was making like an engine, tractor engine, and making a engine noise and running along. And all at once he spied, oh, there's a water hole. So he stops, turns around, backs up, runs right smack through the center of the water hole. Of course, the water splashed out, and he got his breeches wet and his shoes wet. It was, some things like that boys have a nature that they like to do. But anyway, once I was over there combining some grain for Sam's father, and somehow or another I kind of made of a boo-boo with the combine, and the rear end of the combine raised up, jumped down, and I think I went through a ditch or something a little too fast. And then Samuel said, "Hey, Killa, and did a combine send a chumba?" Hey, children, did y'all see the combine jump? I better quit with that. I don't want to get too personal here, but anyway, I want to wish Junior and Donna God's blessings and welcome her into the family, the Freundschaft, the kinfolks. Every once in a while we have a Yoder reunion, and we certainly want to welcome her to the Yoder reunion also, or any other time our house is open, so just come and visit us sometime when you get a chance. Thank you.